Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing Khan Academy lessons. So let's get started. So today we are going to be resuming decimal place value, and we are going to watch this video real fast on decimal place value with decimals.
What we're going to do in this video is refresh our understanding of place value, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper and think about place value in the context of decimals. So just as a refresher, if I had the number 973, this should be review for you. We already know that this rightmost space right over here, this is the ones place. And if we move one space to the left of that, this is the tens place. Notice we went from ones to tens. Tens are 10 times as much as ones. And then we move one space to the left of that, we multiply by tens again, we get to the hundreds space. And so this 9 doesn't just represent 9, it represents 900. Or we could write that as 900. Similarly, the 7 doesn't just represent 7, it represents 7 tens, or 70. This 3 represents 3 ones, so it actually does represent 3. But as I promised, we're now going to extend our understanding. And what we do is we put a decimal here, which you've probably seen before, at the right. And the reason why we even need a decimal is to really tell us where our ones place is. We say, oh, okay, if we go right to the left of the decimal, that's going to be our one space. Because once we start introducing decimals, we can introduce as many spaces as we want to the right of the decimal. And so let's think about those a little bit. When we went from hundreds to tens, notice, we divided by 10. When we go from tens to ones, notice you divide by 10. So what do you think this place over here is going to be called? Well, what happens if you take 1 divided by 10? Well, then you get a tenth. So, as you might imagine, this is the tenths place. And then if you were to go one place to the right of that, what would this place be? Well, it would be tenths divided by 10, or 1/10 of a tenth. So this would be a hundredths place. And then if you were to go one space to the right, and we could keep doing this forever, but if we were to go one space to the right of that, what would it be? Well, a hundredth divided by 10, or 1/10 of a hundredth, is a thousandth space. And so, for example, if I were to extend this number, instead of it just being 973, if I were to write 973.526, what do these numbers, these digits represent? This 5 doesn't just represent 5, it represents 5 tenths. Or another way of writing 5 tenths, you could write it like this, 0.5. You just have a 5 in the tenths place. Or you could write it as 5 tenths. This 2, and I think you get where this is going, this doesn't just represent 2, it represents 2 hundredths. I'm just going to make it very explicit in this video so it's very clear. 2 hundredths. Another way to write that is you just write a 2 in the hundredths place. So we're going 2 spaces to the right of the decimal, or you could write it as 2 over 100, 2 hundredths. And so, for kicks, pause the video. What are all the different ways of representing this 6? Or what does this 6 represent? Well, this is 6,000.
So we're going to answer that question in this Jamboard that I created. And so it's 6 thousandths. And if you can see all his examples he did right here, we know that 6 thousandths, let me write that. So we know that 6 thousandths to use 6 thousandths would equal. So this is the thousandths place right here. The thousandths place is right there. It would be, sorry, it's taking a while, but this is how it would look like if the thousandths right here. So this is how it would look like if 6 thousandths were in. It would look like 0 decimal 0 0 6 in the 6 thousandths place. That's how it would look like written in its number form. Now we're going to write it. So already wrote it in its word form and its number form. Now we're going to write it. See? Now we are going to write it as a fraction. So since it's a fraction and it's in the thousandth place, this is how it would be written. It would be written as 6 6 thousandths. 6 over 1,000. And that's how it looks like. So now let's continue with the rest of the video. See if we're right.
Thousandths. 6 thousandths. There's thousandths. There you go. How would I could also write that as 0 point. Let's see, this is a tenths place, hundredths place, and then in the thousandths place I have 6. Or I could write this as 6 over 1,000. 6 thousandths. So big picture, place value, we can keep going to the right of the decimal, and we can start representing things that are, I guess you could say, more precise.
Okay, so that was the end of the video. Now we're going to get started into the problems. So we're going to start with the value of a digit. So let's go. So the first question is the digit 2 and which number represents a value of 0.002. So it's asking it's asking which 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 number is the same value digit as this 2 and this number. So first we're going to figure out what place value this 2 is in. And so let's write it on the Jamboard. So they showed that it was 0.00002. Pretty sure. Yeah. So, and as you can see here, see this? It is in the thousandths place. So we're just going to write it as, so we know it's in the thousandths place. So we're trying to find a 2 that's in the thousandths place. So let's look at this bottom number. So this number right here, let's read it out loud. 0.324 thousandths. And or you can just say it as 324 thousandths. But it's, so as we look at the 2 here, it's, so let's count. Let's see where all the place values. So it starts from the one, the units, the tenths, the hundredths, and then the and then this is the thousandths. So this would not be the correct answer because this is in the hundredths place. And let's see this. As you can see here, there's no decimal place in here, and it's just 162. And this would be counted as a unit and a one because it's in the ones or units place value. So that would also not be the answer. And this one says 8.032, which is also, you can say, as 8 and 32 thousandths. And so let's see this. Oopsie. Okay. So we see that this is in the units place or the ones place. This is in the tenths place. This is in the hundredths place. And then this is in the thousandths place. And it's the number that we were that we had to choose. So this would be the correct answer. So we would push it and okay. So it says, what value does the 5 represent in the number 0.775 thousandths? And I'm just going to tell you guys, this represents the thousands place because it's in the thousands place. And if you write it down right here, so it said it was 0.7. See, let's see, 0.775. It would be in the thousands place, as you can see here. It's kind of messy, so it would be in the thousandths place right here, as you can see. So we would write thousandths. Like that, thousandths. And it's also spelled differently from just a thousand. It's thousandths with the T, H, and S instead of just S. So we're going to push check. Oh, okay, I understand now. Sorry, but you are supposed to write it like that. We kind of messed up there, but okay. So we still got it right. The next question is, the digit 8 in which number represents a value of 800? So we're trying to find 800ths. 800ths. We already know this one is not because it doesn't have a decimal, and this is actually in the tens place. So this is already and a no. So this one is so it's 0 and 784 thousandths, and the 8 right here is in the thousands place, but we're gonna go over all of these things just in case. So the next number is 65 and 81 hundredths, but the 8 is in the 10th place, so this would be a no. So the only answer we are left with is 0.784 thousandths, and the 8 is actually in the hundredths place. So that would be the correct answer. Okay, so the next question is, what does the 9 represent in the number 53 and 89 hundredths? So I'm just going to do it right here. So this represents the tens, this represents the units, this represents the tens, and this represents the hundreds, and that is the number we are looking for and trying to find out. And it represents the hundreds, so we're just going to write it over here. So 53, 8, 9. As you can see right here, it is in the hundreds place. So we're gonna write it's like 0, 0, decimal 0, and 9. Let's check. Next question. So next question is the digit 4 in which number represents a value of 4 hundredths. So we're trying to find the value or the place value of hundredths, and I'm just looking at this right now. I know this is incorrect because that is actually the tens place, and this is also incorrect right here because that is in thousands place. And so only answer we are leaving with is this answer, and we're just gonna go over it real fast. So as you can see here, we have our ones or units, and then our tenths, and then we have our hundredths, and then we have our thousands. And if we go back here to the 4, which is the number we're looking for here, we are trying to find this number value, which is the thousands. So this would actually be the answer. So let's check it. Next question. So next question is, what value does the 2 represent in the number 52 and 3 tenths? So that 2 is in, so let's 52 and 3, I'm going to write it right here. So 52, 52, and decimal 3. So this is the number we are looking for, and it is in the units spot or the 1 spot. So we're trying to find, so we know that it's a unit or a 1, so we're going to write it as just a 2. Next question. It says, the digit in 9 in which number represents a value of 9 thousandths. Trying to find 9 thousandths. Looking at here, I know this is correct because even though it's 1,000, it's not thousandths as in a after decimal or after the units. And this right here, I know is not, because that is in the hundredth spot. Now let's look at the last one problem we have right here. So as you can see here, we have the only problem standing, and this is in the ones place, this is tenths place, this is hundredths place, and this is the thousands place, and it's the number we're looking for, and it's also in the place value we're looking for. So that would be the correct answer. And now that is the last question for this value, for the value of digit stuff lesson. So that's gonna be all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like all our videos. Thank you for tuning on today's video. Please like and subscribe. Bye.